Hello all and welcome to All Red. Do Liverpool fans actually like FSG, Fenway Sports Group, the owners of Liverpool? Or is it FSG out all the time? Well, let's dive into a little bit of a timeline of Fenway Sports Group and what they've done as owners of Liverpool. By the way, new studio here. Moved closer to home. Instead of 35 minutes, it's now 5 minutes from home. Absolutely delicious, delectable. But let's jump into Fenway Sports Group and the timeline that they have really built over the last 14 years as owners of Liverpool. So first off, in October of 2010, Fenway Sports Group came in at a very dark time in the history of Liverpool Football Club. They were close to administration, and Hicks and Gillette, former owners of Liverpool, were really running the club into the ground. And they did that because when they bought the club in 2008, I believe, they bought it and leveraged the club and its assets and just spiraled them into incredible amounts of debt. I remember their debt payments per month were more, the interest on them were more than what the club was actually bringing in. So they were just continuing to amass more and more debt, and it was a disaster. So FSG come in and they purchased the club for $300 million and really kind of saved the club from ultimate disaster going into administration. Who knows where we would be today if not for FSG coming in. Now, after that, in the midst of all this, the manager of the club at the time was Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson may have been the actual savior of Liverpool because things got so bad while he was manager that Fenway Sports Group came in and bought the club for an absolute steal of a deal at £300 million, which is just crazy to think about now, today, the valuation, which we'll get to, the current valuation of Liverpool Football Club. But, of course, in January of 2011, Roy Hodgson mutually leaves the club, mutually agrees with FSG and the club to leave. Oh, I'm sure it was mutual. Yes, of course. That signaled the end of really kind of the dark days, even though after that it was Kenny Dalglish who came in and you know, I remember Dalglish being hired, and you know, it's like, okay, club legend, can he do it again? And I think we all knew that he couldn't because of where the club was at the time. He just didn't have the talent, didn't have the backing, didn't have the resources to do what needed to be done. And so he really came in as a caretaker, and then they made him the permanent manager in May of 2011, but ultimately left a year later in May of 2012. During his tenure, Michael Edwards was hired by LFC as head of analytics. At the time, it wasn't a big deal, but Liverpool were one of the first clubs to really invest in this analytics thing, which was, at the time, very popular in American sports. So Michael Edwards comes in, hired as head of analytics, kind of an unknown guy at the time, but now we know an amazing hire by Fenway Sports Group. After that, we all know that Brendan Rodgers was hired in June of 2012 as manager. He was hired to kind of usher in the Barcelona style, the tiki-taka style of football, and integrate that with Liverpool and try to build something that was, you know, sustainable like Barcelona's success was. And their group of players ultimately didn't work. And obviously he came close in 2013, 2014 to winning the Premier League. It just didn't happen. We don't need to revisit that. And was sacked in October of 2015. Now, Brendan Rodgers' time was, I think, largely disappointing. You know, the club was much better than what they were under Hodgson, and even better than they were under Rafa Benitez. Didn't win anything, but I think just in a better place, ultimately. More talent, better team, but just couldn't win anything, and FSG ultimately made the decision to let him go. Now, I think that was due in part to another guy who was available at the time, which was Jurgen Klopp, of course. October 2015, they sack Brendan Rodgers and very promptly hire Jurgen Klopp. I think that was obviously connected, and they made the right choice. They made the right choice to let go of a manager who recently had almost won the Premier League, was underachieving in that season, and they made the decision to get rid of him and start fresh with Jurgen Klopp. And of course, we know the results of that decision, which were absolutely fantastic. Now, we fast forward to today, June 2024. They have now hired Arne Slot after Jurgen Klopp has willingly stepped down by his own merit. The club wanted to keep him, but now they have hired Arne Slot. They've restructured the leadership of Liverpool, and look at that valuation from 300 million 14 years ago to now 4.2 billion pounds. Now, the intangibles in here are FSG have run this club in the right ways. Look at some of the clubs around us. Look at clubs like Manchester City, who have 115 charges brought against them. They haven't been proved yet, but they have 115 charges against them. Manchester City arguably are the most successful club in England. Well, that's not really an argument there. Trophy-wise, they're the most successful club in England over the last, 15 years, really since FSG came in. And you look at how they've run their club, obviously, there's some shadows there. At least allegedly, there's some shadows. If you look at other clubs like Chelsea, they've had hardships. They've had controversies. And obviously other clubs who have been punished recently, as recent as this past season. So, and then you look at the trophy count. For Liverpool, since Fenway Sports Group took over, they are number 2 to Manchester City. And I think anybody in European football would say that Liverpool are number 2 behind Manchester City for the last decade and a half. And that's a success. Obviously, we want to be number 1, and we are a club that aspires to always be the best, and we expect to always be the best. But that is a success, given where FSG started in October of 2010 with the disaster that they bought. They had a vision, they were visionaries to see what Liverpool could become, and they've made it happen. They've made it happen. So I hear and I read all the time, FSG out, FSG out. We didn't get Mbappe. We didn't get Caicedo. FSG out. They won't spend. Well, they do spend, but they spend sustainably. They spend when there's money to spend. They don't go into massive amounts of debt, and they don't break the rules to get the players they want. So I, for one, am a fan of how FSG has run my club, Liverpool Football Club. And I think that they've done a fantastic job, and they've brought Liverpool into this healthy state where there's not debt, there's not massive amounts of liabilities, and they've made the right choices to smartly sell and buy the right players at the right times. And a big part of that, obviously, is the people, the leadership that they've brought in to do that well. So, do Liverpool fans like FSG as their owners? It's probably split down the middle, right? Some don't, some do. I, for one, do like how they've run my club, and I think they've done it in a really, really good way. And I'm excited to see what this kind of next era looks like. They've owned Liverpool now for almost 14 years. The Klopp era was obviously a massive success, and now they are structuring the club to sustain that success, and Arne Slot is obviously a big part of that as the new head coach / manager, whatever you want to call him, and with Michael Edwards and his group of leadership. So I'll leave it at that. You can make your own decisions. I'd love to know what your perspective is and your thoughts are in the comments. Do you like FSG? Do you like what they've done with Liverpool Football Club? What do you like about them? What do you not like? Did I miss something? Am I being blinded by success in the Jurgen Klopp era. Let me know in the comments. As always, it is super helpful if you subscribe to the channel and like this video. And we will see you next time on All Red. Thanks for watching this All Red clip. If you liked the video, click the like button and comment below. Let me know something about whatever it is you want to say. And of course, consider joining the All Red community by subscribing to this channel. It's fast, it's easy, it's free, and it's all red. And you're welcome to stay here and keep watching this video as long as you like. But I actually need to go. So thank you. I'll see you later.